All right, you guys, I got another fun one today. This is a 2015 Chevy Cruze with a 1.4 liter turbo, 134,000 miles, right? This car is a rebuilt title car, and I got it for, I guess, what you could consider a steal. It was 2,500 bucks. Clean car, no rust. Obviously, it's been in a front end accident, but it's not terrible. I can't do much with this car. I can't finance it, so it's gonna have to be a cash deal for somebody. But aside from it having a front end accident a year after it was born, it's a pretty good car. The family I got it from said that they took it to a shop. The shop diagnosed it as it needs a turbo, it needs an intercooler, and it needs an ignition coil, specifically, nothing else. Now, they quoted him like $1,500 or $1,800 to do all this work. And he said, nope, I'm done, I'm selling the car. So I went and picked this thing up for 2,500 bucks with the Misfire. And first thing I found was it has brand new spark plugs in it and a brand new coil, but it still has a misfire. I went in and checked on my diagnostic tool, and it said cylinder 3 misfire. And it had a history of some other misfires as well on each cylinder, but mainly cylinder 3 was our culprit. Well, I pulled the spark plugs, and they are all Autolite plugs, and they're all brand new. In fact, this guy himself said that he went out and replaced the spark plugs twice and still had the misfire, and he himself did the ignition coil and still had the misfire. Well, because we had a cylinder 3 misfire, this is cylinder 4, but this is the spark plug that was originally misfiring. Because we had a cylinder 3 misfire, I took this spark plug and moved it to cylinder 4. And the misfire followed it over to cylinder 4, which means these spark plugs are not working in this car. For whatever reason, this car does not like the Autolite spark plugs. XP3922 doesn't like them. So if you're doing spark plugs in your Chevy Cruze, or if you have a misfire, the very first thing I would do before even replacing your ignition coil is go in here and replace your spark plugs with AC Delcos. Go original or go for the expensive one. Now, I will say that the Autolite plugs are only like $2 or $3 cheaper a piece, so they're really not actually all that cheap. It's a possibility that this may be just a defective spark plug, I don't know. But either way, this is a good video for you guys to reference, things to check. You know, if you've changed your spark plugs twice, you're still having the same problem. That's another thing too. This guy did it twice and still had the same problem with these spark plugs. So again, it very well could be the plugs themselves just don't work with this car for some weird reason. I don't know. Figured I'd put this video out there for anybody that has this issue, might help you out. And then if you still have the misfire, of course, I would go ahead and replace your ignition coil. But when you replace your ignition coil, make sure that you check to make sure that that little spring, can't really see it very well, but there's springs in there. Make sure that each one is clear of any debris, and it's seated correctly. That way it seats on top of your spark plug and makes a good connection. Another thing that you guys want to check if you have a misfire that keeps coming back even after you replace the spark plugs is you'll notice that there will be oil down in these holes, and the oil comes from this valve cover. Over time it starts seeping oil right in between here, and it'll get down into the spark plug holes, leak oil down in there, and cause another misfire. So you'll be changing your spark plugs constantly, but still having a reoccurring misfire. So watch out for those things, and hopefully this video helps somebody.